cars, mobile phones, fancy ice cream, and more. Indonesia's consumers are whipping out the cash and credit cards and going shopping. They're now the most confident shoppers in the world, or so says a Nielsen survey published just last month. With domestic demand contributing to over half of GDP, consumers also help explain why the country's economy can still remain a relative bright spot amid the global doom and gloom.
One of the reasons we're positive on Indonesia reflects its underlying economic structure, which is essentially a heavy weighting in terms of demand towards domestic consumption.
After all, the country's GDP growth may be moderating, but it still clocks in above a healthy 6%. Incomes are also rising, and credit is more easily available. That means more and more middle-class Indonesians can afford that new car or iPad. And foreign and domestic companies are clamoring to get a piece of the action. But left completely unchecked, the buying spree could turn into too much of a good thing, with the country consuming more than it can afford. For the third straight month in June, Southeast Asia's largest economy imported far more than it exported. HSBC says the trade deficit could persist, which will continue to hurt the country's already underperforming currency, as it dishes out more US dollars to pay for imports. What's more, credit growth has exploded, prompting some observers to sound the alarm. The Bank for International Settlements warned in June that Indonesia had entered a danger zone of high credit growth. And in 2011, the value of credit card transactions jumped 12%, outstripping wage growth. But despite the red flags, there's still room for cheer. The central bank has made moves to dampen credit fever. More of the country's loans are going to productive sectors of the economy, not just consumers, say ANZ economists. Rates are at record lows, inflation is in check, and investors are still flocking to the country. So with Indonesia still banking on its shoppers to help keep its economy afloat, they'll need to keep a close watch on their spending or risk derailing the country's growth. Lisa Yurko Thomas, Reuters.